Last week of the regular season, it's decision week. Who's in, who's out. Playoffs begin now. It's the state of Florida, the very best. We cover the whole state, Central Florida, South Florida, Tampa Bay, and beyond. Welcome to Hotbed World. Next. Hello again and welcome back out to the footballhotbed.com Florida High School Football Report driven by Honda. I'm Brandon O'Doy. Couldn't be more excited to join you for this Week 11, the last week of the regular season of high school football here in the great state of Florida. What's at stake? Well, bragging rights in Game of the Week. We're here at Hollywood's MacArthur High School where they come into this game undefeated and looking to notch a signature win against 7-2 Cardinal Gibbons. Cardinal Gibbons is a team that has had national ranking in this season, and a win today for MacArthur would be not only an upset, but a program re-establishing win for Coach Pierre Sonatas and his Mustangs. We'll get to Game of Week in just a second, but let's go to Eye on South Florida first. Let's take a look at St. Thomas and Miramar. This is a rivalry that has continued to develop over the years with Coach Damon Cogdell now at South Florida. Roger Harriet has inherited for St. Thomas Aquinas. Last year, one of the most embarrassing home losses for the Aquinas Raiders. We'll take a look back at that and then go into this year. It's Eye on South Florida next. Let's go to the tape. All right, let's get it started. Going back to 2017, Miramar visiting St. Thomas Aquinas. St. Thomas looking to get ready to go to state, but then Miramar comes in and absolutely shocks the Aquinas Raiders. They put up 44 points, one of the worst home losses in St. Thomas Aquinas history. Now to this past Friday, St. Thomas going to Miramar, and revenge is a dish best served cold. That's an interception by Jaden Davis. He takes it back 53 yards the other way for an Aquinas touchdown. The Raiders put up 21 points in the first quarter alone in this game. Miramar could only muster one score. It was the sophomore sensation, Torrey Cox Jr., and I now pronounce you very fast. Mr. Cox would get in there. He's someone to definitely look to toward the future, but the future is now for St. Thomas Aquinas. 48-6 over Miramar. Jaden Henry tacks on another touchdown on the ground, and they were just too much for the Miramar Patriots. Chaminade University School, that's John Dunmore, the Penn State commit, going up over Xavier Flowers. Dalen Menard slinging that thing back again to Mr. Dunmore, and they were not done. In the end, Menard would throw for 3 TDs in the win, finding an open Ahmad Jordan, 35-0 over U School. Woo! Taking a look at the scores in South Florida, Northwestern 34-10 winners over Miami-Jackson. Hialeah 42-13 winners over Goldman, improving to 9-1 on the season. Palm Beach Lakes all over Suncoast 46-6. They'll meet up with MacArthur in the first round of the Florida 7A state playoffs. Welcome back. We wanted to take a look, a special look at this South Florida program, MacArthur here in Hollywood, Florida. Last year, a disappointing 1-9 season. The coach was released, and in comes Pierre Sonatas, head coach from Hialeah via Miramar. And this is a young man who has built his pedigree under Tim Ice Harris, a legend here in South Florida, and he's now the head coach of this Mustang team. He has them at 9-0, and we had to send Giselle Espinales in focus to find out what makes this Mustang program so special. Set.
MacArthur High School's football program has gone through its ups and downs. Just last year, they finished 1-9 after having a successful 2016 season. And now, under new head coach Pierre Sonatas, they have found ways to win each and every week.
All the praise goes to the team. These young men have been extremely dedicated to their craft. You're talking about young men that are really passionate about playing football, doing it the right way.
But as coaches, players, and fans know, high school football is not just the 48 minutes played on the field. There's weight training, practices, and so much more.
So I have 2 little ones, and I think they're the ones that I hurt the most for, because we spend so much time with the team. But when you take on this kind of job, you know that's par for the course.
For senior linebacker and defensive end Devin Mannings, who has been a part of this Mustangs program for the past 4 years, knows change isn't easy, but Sonatas has made the transition smooth.
He told me to stay focused, do what I have to do, make sure I'm on top of everything, never slack, never skip school, just do great things, and I achieve anything I want in life.
And for Sonatas, it does not matter what the score is or what their record may be, giving the players that boost of confidence, knowing that they can accomplish anything that they set their minds to is his ultimate goal.
If we can continue to have these young men go out and be great student athletes collegially and community and come back and say, man, I grew from this process.
Coaches and players know the sacrifices that are made both on and off the field. Here at MacArthur High School, Coach Sonatas will continue to lead the way. For FootballHotbed.com, I'm Giselle Espinales.
Thanks, Giselle. And still ahead on the FootballHotbed.com Florida High School Football Report, we've got an outstanding game of the week between Cardinal Gibbons, 7-2, and MacArthur, the upstart, the team trying to rebuild the program, sitting at 9-0 coming to this game. We'll have turn on the tape and the top plays of the week. But first, it's Eye on Tampa when we return on the FootballHotbed.com Florida High School Football Report, driven by Honda. Welcome back to FootballHotbed.com, the Florida High School Football Report. We're excited now to get on the west coast of Florida. Eye on Tampa Bay is next, and we've got some exciting highlights that you want to check out. Let's check out the Panthers as they march into the playoffs, and that tricky team that's always looking to get an upset. Will there be one this week? Let's go to the tape. Let's go to Zephyr Hills taking on Pasco, the 9 Mile War. Zephyr Hills getting it done on the ground. This is Cartel Strong exploding up the field 60 yards later for the score. Strong wasn't done. Put up 4 TDs on the night. Just amazing night for him. 138 yards on the ground. And his backfield running mate, Zaire Roundtree, got in on the action too. But Sam Bergen and the 5 sacks by this defense was the difference. 49-0 winners over Pasco. Let's go to Planton Newsome. Tucker Gleason going up top to Leonard Parker. Parker with the excellent catch between 2 defenders. He wasn't done. He takes the kickoff return here all the way 80 yards. Burning Newsome, and watch the photo finish. Boom. And Gleason says, hey man, don't leave me out of the action. I want to get in on the scoring parade. It's his second TD of the game. Helps Plant secure the victory in the fourth quarter. The Panthers win 50-36. Bloomingdale taking on Robinson. Bloomingdale trying to get into the 7A state playoffs, trying to charge through, and that is Mr. Charles Montgomery, 41 yards on the run there. DB Jalen Jackson jumps the route, takes it back 21 yards to give the Bulls the lead early. But Robinson would cut the lead in half briefly when quarterback Koppel, he connects with Clinton, who sheds his defender and bolts 35 yards for the touchdown. But Bloomingdale's run game would prove to be too much as Levi Williams gets in on the stats, taking the direct snap, dancing and spinning his way through the line, going 45 yards to put the Bulls back up by 14 before the half. And back from intermission, Charles Montgomery, he takes another direct snap and this time goes 29 yards to all but seal the deal for the Bulls. He finishes the game running it 18 times for 179 yards and 4 scores. Bloomingdale 9-1 on the season, 48-14 winners. Check out the scores in Tampa Bay. Lakewood 24-21 winners over Largo. Deuce Span 15-28, 138 yards and a TD. Then it's 56-28 winners over Palmetto, locking up the top spot in Class 7A Region 3 with the win. And Armwood 38-0 winners over Durant. Eric Wilson, 11 carries, 118 yards, their 9th straight win on the season. And now let's take a look at the Florida High School Football Top 25 rankings brought to you by FootballHotbed.com. Still ahead on the footballhotbed.com Florida High School Football Report. Game of the week from Hollywood, Florida. MacArthur trying to remain unblemished as Cardinal Gibbons and Nick Scalzo come to town to look to knock them off. Plus, we have the top plays around the state of Florida and turn on the tape, spotlighting this week's player that needs more attention in the recruiting game. But first, it's around the state of Florida when we return on the footballhotbed.com Florida High School Football Report, driven by Honda. Welcome back to footballhotbed.com, the Florida High School Football Report. We're here at MacArthur High School in Hollywood, Florida. This is a wonderful game of the week matchup. Two wonderful head coaches, Matt DeBuck of Cardinal Gibbons and Pierre Sonatis of Hollywood MacArthur. This is a game that is kind of developed into a grudge match because these two teams are doing very well. Cardinal Gibbons has state aspirations in 5A, and MacArthur, the upstart, trying to reverse a 1-9 season from a year ago. But we'll get to game of the week in just a moment. It's time to take a broader look around the state. Let's take a look at around Florida. Let's go to the tape. Let's take a look around the state now. Gaither, Tampa Bay Tech. Gaither needed this win to get into the playoffs. Johnny Dido from Chris Meadows. 20 yards later, a touchdown. David Wright for Tech throws to Isaiah Stevens. 73 yards. Tech didn't want to go down. This is a big game. Potentially losing could put them out. But they are in, and so is Gaither. Tony Bartolo for the rushing touchdown, 21-20, upset winners over Tech. IMG visiting Hoover of Alabama. Trey Sanders, 42 yards on the ground. The amazing running back, 128 yards rushing. 2 TDs for IMG, the Ascenders in their last game of the season, making things happen. Sophomore Hoover running back Dylan Pauly would get in for the only score for Hoover, but this one was all IMG. Their star-studded offense led by Bryson Lucero here. UAB commit throws for 245 yards and 2 TDs on the day. The screen pass good there. And then Chandler Magruder, over 100 yards on the ground. He would go the distance here. IMG just too much for Hoover, 48-7. Taking a look at the scores around Florida. Childs 47-20 winners over Deltona. Chase Gillespie with a big game, 9 carries, 104 yards. Mendez 47 winners over Matanzas. Kenny Logan 14 carries for 104 yards on the ground. And Lee 42-6 winners over White. Cameron Sapp 130 yards in the air on 11 and 19 passing, 3 TDs and only 1 interception. Go to Callaware Vanguard's Kimo Clark is head over heels for this game. He's focused, trying to stay undefeated. Oakleaf comes to town, but they want the smoke. Vanguard's Kimo Clark, 8 yards up the middle for a score. Oakleaf Walter Simmons will hook up with Sean Washington, cutting over the midfield and taking it to the house, 7-7 here. And this will be a back and forth game, but Vanguard's Kimo Clark, he takes one more from outside the goal line, and the Knights get it done by the air. Javante Rucker hits Leonard Manuel, connecting for a 3-yard touchdown scoring play. Simmons would answer, though. He hits Washington for a 21-yard strike. Back and forth these two would go, but in the end, too much Kimo Clark. He trucks behind a pulling guard, breaks off another big run, going 67 yards to the bank. Clark puts up 4 TDs on the night. Vanguard would simply dominate. Quarterback Trevante Rucking leading the way, 177 yards on the ground, breaking one here for 73 yards. Vanguard with the big win, 46-34 over Oakleaf, entering the 6A Region 2 playoffs as the #1 seed. Backyard barbecue, Coco, Rockledge getting it done in here. Elias Allen, he walks in for the score, the quarterback, and this is Avery Smith, one of 2 rushing touchdowns on the day for him. This one from over 50 out, and this game would not be complete. If you don't know this young man's name, get to know it. Ladarius Tennyson with the great play. 42-10, Rockledge beating down Coco. Central Florida scoreboard now. West Orange 61-13 winners over Ocoee. Daryl Harding, 7 receptions, 233 yards, and 4 TDs. Wow. Edgewater 56-14 winners over Boone. RJ Harvey with a big game. Wakaiba 35-0 over Lake Nona. Larry Preston, 145 yards in the air, 2 TDs. All right, it's still ahead on the footballhotbed.com Florida High School Football Report. Game of the week is finally here. We're going to have the top plays and turn on the tape. Can Coach Pierre Sonatas and the MacArthur Mustangs upset Coach Matt DeBuck and the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs? We'll find that out when we return in the Florida High School Football Report, driven by Honda. Welcome back out to Hollywood, Florida. MacArthur High School, the site of this week's Game of the Week. Why are we here? Well, you've got a team that has completely turned their program's fortunes around. 1-9, the MacArthur Mustangs on last season. This year, a perfect slate, 9-0. And who do they play? Cardinal Gibbons. This is a game that Gibbons, when they scheduled it, they probably thought this would be a nice, easy test going into the 5A state playoffs. Not so fast. Coach Matt DeBuck actually has to play a football game today, and they're ready. They said they're going to go Mustang hunting on Twitter earlier this week. Both of these teams have a healthy respect for one another. Coach Matt DeBuck has turned the program around at Cardinal Gibbons, finally getting over the hump and beating American Heritage Plantation, the only team he could not beat in the past 2 years. They won this year on a walk-off interception, a pick 6 at that. And MacArthur comes in with the air show. TJ Smith, Coach JaQuay, not only the offensive coordinator and led by their fearless leader, Coach Pierre Sonatas. What will happen? We don't know, but we can't wait to find out. It's time. Without further ado, let's go to Game of the Week and let's turn on the tape. Undefeated MacArthur facing off Cardinal Gibbons, looking to collect their 8th straight victory. The Chiefs would start out fast, capping a 10-play, 62-yard drive with a 10-yard TD run. Vincent Davis, who would carry it 17 times for 96 yards, totaling 2 TDs on the night. Defense was big in this game early on. Michael Matthews and company take down Davis before Gerard Barber intercepts the tip pass. Watch this here. Nick Scalzo didn't see Barber coming. And not to be left out, the Gibbons defense, they would step up. Safety Derek Atwaters getting one back for the Chiefs, going to the break with the Mustangs trailing 7-0.
Playing their hearts out. Coaches are making great adjustments. I mean, we're prepared, well prepared, and just opportunities haven't fallen our way for offense. Well, we're looking for an explosive second half. We've been that kind of game all season. We're producing the second half, so that's the expectation. We're going to coach these guys up, make the adjustments at halftime, and come out here and play MacArthur-style football.
Back from halftime, and the Chiefs' defense keeps up the pressure. Sidney Porter blocks the punt, which is then picked up by Donovan James, who goes 20 yards and puts Gibbons up 14-0. With the weather turning, Nick Scalzo takes off, escaping the pressure. He's going to set up Vincent Davis for his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. This one from 4 yards out before the game is called due to weather. Cardinal Gibbons ends the Mustangs' hope for a perfect regular season, winning 21-0 over the Mustangs.
Well, anytime you beat a 9-0 team, obviously, you know, that's an accomplishment. But they're a good team. I think they're going to do well in the playoffs. But I like our team, too, and our guys played hard. Yeah, a couple mistakes here and there, but defense played lights out. Special teams are good. So offensively, we moved the ball up and down the field. We just didn't close in the red zone a couple times. But, you know, it is what it is. They play defense, too.
They started to send in the house, and then later on they backed up again, like the beginning of the game. We just executed it. We dominated and executed our plays.
All right, it's time for Turn on the Tape. This is a segment that we've designed to give one of the athletes in the state of Florida an opportunity to grab the attention of the college recruiters he would like to get to recruit him. And sometimes college coaches need a little nudge on the elbow to know who they should be following. This week's Turn on the Tape is no less special than any other week. As a matter of fact, I think you'll recognize him from these Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs. Let's turn on the tape. College football coaches, you need to turn on the tape for Sidney Porter, defensive back, Cardinal Gibbons High School, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. At 5'11", 193, he's got the size and speed combination that coaches look for in Division I. But in addition to his coverage ability, it's probably his penchant for making the big play that makes this young man so special. This is definitely a young man who deserves more attention. Currently committed to Marshall, he can be a much higher ceiling player on the Division I Power 5 level. All right, it's that moment that we wait for every single week. Top plays all across the great state of Florida, the plays you vote for. If you didn't get a chance to vote this week, follow us on social media at footballhotbed.com, on Twitter, Facebook, and even Instagram. But without further ado, here's this week's top plays. Let's go to the tape. Top plays number 5, check out Levi Williams. Watch this run here, hits the B button, and he takes off to the races, and he's gone. Touchdown, Bloomingdale, 48-14 over Robinson. Number 4, let's go to University School with Chaminade in the white. That's the pass from Dalen Menard to John Dunsmore. Oh, man. What a play. What a catch. Chaminade all over University. Number 3, Tucker Gleason got a pass to Leonard Parker, a plant right between 2 defenders. Plant would roll over Newsom. Awesome catch there, but if you thought that was good, let's go to number 2, Rockledge taking on Coco, and that's Ladarius Tennyson. This man is blowing up. And number 1, St. Thomas Aquinas, Xavier Restrepo. Wonderful one-hand grab. That's the jackpot play of the week. And when you make great grades, you can hit the jackpot. Florida Lottery contributing lots of money to help students like Xavier shine. All right, and that's all the time we have here in Hollywood, Florida. We look forward to next week. Game of the week will be on the road with the playoffs, the first round of the playoffs in the Florida High School Football State Championships. But until then, we sign off here from Hollywood, Florida. MacArthur Mustangs. It's a hotbed world. We'll see you next week.